I promised that I will be in Bahrain on the 24th of May, Friday. The location has been fixed. It's Hotel Rami Grand, opposite to Seif Mall. Those desirous of meeting me in Bahrain can contact my team at the WhatsApp number given below or drop an email at the email address given below. See you in Bahrain on the 24th of May.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Thanks to all of you who have been wishing Anand happy birthday on all the medias and platforms. Anand is very thankful and he wanted me to pass on his thanks to all the viewers in this channel too. Today the market was correcting and it corrected severely. There were moments in the market when it was so ripe with nice bargains. I hope you went out and did a bit of shopping. Maybe you could have explored a little bit more than your tiffin coffee if you were courageous enough. And if in your stock list there were companies which were hanging quite rather low and you felt like plucking a few, I won't blame you if you did, because we all did. Even Anand and me went a little bit of a shopping spree today because the market seemed a little nervous and rattled. And the FPIs have withdrawn over 17,000 crores from the equity so far based on the political uncertainty. The foreign portfolio investors, they withdrew 17 crores from the Indian equities in the first 10 days of May due to the political uncertainties related to the general elections and expensive valuation and profit booking. So this is what led to Tata Motors stock dropping by 8% as we are recording this video. And maybe we'll see some more correction, but they seem to have pulled the market back from the brink. As always, the DIIs have stepped in and bolstered and scaffolded the market to prevent any more further bleeding. But bleeding there was, and I hope you did manage to put some. But in contrast, the FPI has made net investment of 35,098 crores in March and 139 crores in Feb. But the Fed Reserve's stance on maintaining the interest rate seems to be what is worrying some of the FPIs. And also the cooling of inflation is not as much as it needs to be, and the dollar getting stronger and the higher treasury yields, and even the Bank of England seems to be rather hard-pressed to reduce the interest rate because of where the American interest rates stand, because they don't want to end up where the Japanese yen is ending up because of a lower interest rate in the British pound could lead to a weaker pound compared to the dollar, meaning more capital exits UK as it is. There's an election happening there and things are not looking great for Sunak. And he's out there tom-toying about how UK is at a crossroad and they should be careful on what they decide to do. And having the right leader is very important. Sounds a lot of familiar kind of tracks playing across the world because the election season going on in US, in India. So I can understand this. Politicians have to be politicians and they do these, get their greatest hits out and dust the records and they put them on and they play it out. Either it's fear-mongering or it's chest beating, which happens both in tandem. So we have to wait and watch how the people decide to be swayed this time. That being said, Tata Motors DVR is down 9% at a PE of 10.5. And other news is Chandrasekhar, the chairman of Tata & Sons, has decided to serve also as the chairman of Tata Electronics. Tata Electronics is going through a very important phase, so I can understand why he wants to steer the ship himself. And I can relate to that because he did a fantastic job in TCS and he's doing a fantastic job in Tata & Sons. So there's a lot of confidence in him taking the wheels in Tata Electronics, and he's taking over the position from Mamani Agrawal, who recently moved to the advisory role in Tata & Sons. There's a lot of expansion happening. They're planning to recruit up to 50 to 60 top-level expatriates to strengthen the capabilities in their semiconductor technology and strategic planning. It was founded in 2020 in Apple's only India vendor in iPhone and enclosures, is expanding facilities in Hosur, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. The company is reportedly planning to take over Pegatron facility in Tamil Nadu too, to further increase manufacturing capacity. That too, with where Apple is right now, I'm sure Apple would require India to bolster some more sales because of what's happening for Apple in China. Apple is relying more and more on the Indian market and more Southeast Asian markets such as Indonesia to bolster their falling sales in China due to the ongoing stresses between the China and US relationship. So there, India stands to profit, and there the Tata stands to profit. So Tata Electronics seems to be doing the right things in terms of this strategic move. The only question comes to, has Apple got the right product range? And has it still managed to capture the imagination of the public? Yes, I still do think Apple has captured the public's imagination. It may not have the market-grabbing products or ideas in the tank right now, But what it does is it has a very loyal customer base with a high retention rate. And as long as they follow the cue of the market trends, they should be able to steer these times quite well, Apple, and wait until they manage to crack something new out of their war chest and offer it to the public to capture their imagination again. They did kind of fumble with the ad for the iPad Pro, which they came out and apologized, which is understandable. Meanwhile, Wipro is trying to make peace with the former top executives. The Bangalore's moved for a settlement of the lawsuits against the former executives under the new leadership of Srinivasa Pillai, and the former executive Jatin Dalal and Mohammad Ishturun Haq have joined the competitors Cognizant CTS shortly after resignation from Wipro. They filed a breach of employment contract, but now they seem to have reached some kind of a settlement, which is rather good, because there's no point in chasing each other with an axe. If we can bury the hatchet, it's the best way to go. So what did I want to talk about today? What I wanted to talk about today was Europe and what's happening in Europe and some interesting news that came along. Klaus Ronansky, the executive of Siemens, highlighted the development of a new chatbot technology by his team. Siemens has come out with its own AI tool, and this tool enables factory workers to interact with robots and machines Siemens creates, and without the need of any programming skill, thereby significantly boosting productivity. Here again, it shows where AI is going and how fast it's going. So you can imagine Siemens makes a lot of robots and machines which are used in factories, in industries, which help us make things like our iPhone and other products. So they help you assemble, these robots help you assemble. And factory workers, anytime anything new happens, they rely on programmers to come in and help them communicate what they need with these machines. And they reprogram, refitted with what the new requirements are or the new specifications. And the factory workers are trained all over again how to use these and machines and robots. And this takes a lag time, leading to downtime in the factories. Now Siemens has developed an AI chatbot which enables the factory workers to directly interact with these robots and machines, thereby removing a layer which was slowing the production down so that they can talk directly to these machines and robots, thereby removing a whole class of workers which were required and who are now become redundant. This is how AI is changing the field, and I keep telling you this repeatedly. If you are in employment and you're on the age of 25 to 35, please stop resisting AI and do look at ways of upskilling yourself and integrating AI into your portfolio, and do bring AI into your life, because it is not going anywhere. If anything, it's going to be here for a very long time. Even Apple has come out saying that in the recent news, which I spoke about a day or two ago, about how they're tying up with OpenAI and even negotiating in Google to bring AI to its phones. So AI is going to become more prevalent. So we can't put this genie back in the bottle as much as we all wish we could and go back to the good old days. These days are here to stay. Talking about further about the Siemens news is what was happening. Ronansky was talking about Europe. He says Europe is lagging technologically behind other regions, especially the US. He points out that innovations, what you call like what's happening in Siemens, are the evidence of the ongoing advancement. Yes, and I understand what he's talking about in Siemens. But it did open up a nice can of worms to look at, investigate, as they say, as we investors go fishing. Is US and Europe, are they on equal field, or is Europe seriously lagging behind? Europe does face economic challenges, including slow growth compared to the US, and that's exacerbated by the problems which were created by the COVID-19 pandemic. The geopolitical tensions it's facing with Russia is definitely not helping. The war in Ukraine is not helping, and this is making things worse for Europe. But the European economy, historically, even before the Ukraine war and the pandemic, has been struggling with a variety of structural issues in its economy. The biggest one is the aging population. The aging population in Europe is a big problem, and they have a stiff resistance to immigration and immigrants coming into their continent, which is not helpful. They need young workers, they need injection of youth in their population, and right now the Europeans don't seem to be looking at this as a serious problem, and it is slowly creeping up on them, like what's happening in Japan and Korea, and we've spoken about this. Even in China, they have an aging problem there because of the one-child policy which was enforced for such a long period of time. Their population is aging rapidly without fresh set of young workers arriving behind them. So, and another problem in Europe is the regulatory environment. It can stifle growth. And yes, Europe is lovely, Europe is free, Europe is democratic, but at the same time, this kind of freedom and democracy and equality leads to a lot of regulations and red tape, and Europe does have it. The British are really suffering this. One of the mistakes they did not really look into, meaning they did not calculate as much as they thought, was Brexit. When they exited Europe, they thought they'll be able to somehow continue doing business with Europe without much problem, and there won't be any issues. They can negotiate some kind of a deal to reduce the amount of red tape which is there. British are famous for their own red tape, that too coupled with our European red tape. There's so much of regulatory problems now between both of them. It is really stifling growth on both sides, because one of British's largest trading partners was Europe, and one of Europe's largest trading partners was UK, and this has broken down, and this is making problems worse for Europe. And there's a relatively lack of investment in key technological sectors in Europe, because as cohesive effort by these countries to work together on this is lacking. So European policymakers are increasingly focused on boosting this to be more competitive, to be more resilient. And for instance, they're considering deeper integration of capital markets and centralized funding for strategic sectors like defense and technology. Of course, AI is going to play a role in all this. And how much AI is going to help Europe or deter Europe, we'll have to wait and watch, because AI is not only going to help Europe, it's going to help all other countries around the world, and all other sectors are also going to be benefiting from AI. So we'll have to watch. Though people are painting this as AI is going to be one silver bullet which is going to cure all their problems, you got to realize everybody's got the same silver bullet for all their problems too. So net, everybody's problem becomes my problem becomes everybody's problem. So how much of this is AI going to solve? I really don't know. We'll have to wait and watch. The opportunity for growth and improvement is there in Europe. Especially companies and policymakers can leverage this technology and effectively create more favorable conditions for investment and innovations going forward, especially for like long-term investors like you and me. But is this going to be the renaissance of Europe? Is this Europe, 4.0, 5.0, 10.0, whatever 0.0? I don't know if it's that. We have reached that stages yet. Is there companies in Europe like the Japanese conglomerates which are spread across the world, which are able to generate revenue, and all that revenue is coming back to European shores? I don't see that either. So we have to wait and watch. It is interesting times. So as an investor, I would strongly ask you to keep an eye on all this. And as they develop, especially at the speed at which they're developing, there might be pockets here and there. Like today we saw in the Indian market when it corrected. There are elections across Europe also. There are situations across Europe which might create jitters in their market, which might open up opportunities there too. So do keep your eyes open and you see those values which you know, which you've been researching and studying about, and those companies. Do take your tiffin coffee out and go shopping. Thanks for watching Be Rich today, and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye.
It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.